Smart24, driving business.
With 25 minutes to go to 10 o'clock, we cross over on ground with Barija Andrew, who is yet to discuss more about matters regarding the kind of weather that we're living in and how to live during this festive season amidst the kind of weather changes that we're highly expecting. When you look at the fact that it's a rainy season and the rainy period at a time when people are actually anticipating more of what to expect during such a time. Well, these unprecedented times do present us with only ideas to at least be able to prepare ourselves favorably, but also looking at the business community, how are they transitioning into a better way of driving business and also focusing more on at least making some good money despite of the fact that it is raining day in, day out within the country. Barija Andrew is on ground around Plot 42 Nile Avenue's roundabout, and he's yet to give us more about this particular one.
Morning with rains which you don't really expect, and definitely we are into this season whereby it's really raining too much and quite a lot, as you can see right here. There is a little bit of a calm, there is a calm, the situation is calm. There is no congestion, as you can see right here where I'm standing besides that, and definitely looking at the fact that the people's businesses are also being affected in a way. Some people are not reaching in time on work. Some are a little bit late, so you get to understand the impact of the rainfalls on the national economy and of course so many other particular aspects. Yes, and we expect it to get a little bit much more, the rains to continue to push up till December, but probably they could be much more scarce come January, where we might go into that's the, can I call it, this dry season? Yes, but definitely this all comes as a result of the climate change, which is really transparent. It's a global aspect. We realize that seasons actually are changing. Those days, there are times we could expect the rains, but they couldn't show up. But however, there are also the times we expected it to shine and it rained. But December is always a rainy season, as always. And of course, as you can see, a very calm situation. Some of these streets used to have businesses that used to transact along, small businesses, but as I speak, no one is here on the road. It's a little bit dry, and it's a calm situation. It's not as heavy congested. But of course, I expect it probably coming towards evening. If this probably happened towards the evening, we could be really having a very heavy congestion. And partly one of the reasons as why we may not have a serious congestion as we expect, as we see right here, I will attribute it to the festive season, as majority of the people have traveled. So there are not quite so many heavy vehicles that are moving in and out there. So the situation is a little bit calm. So I'm trying to observe, normal life moving on here, and I'm trying to see how it's really coming out, how it's transpiring out. It's really quite rare that we have such a situation of a rare, can I say, the streets are empty, are literally empty. The streets are very, very, very empty. But then I want to get in touch with someone around here, and we see how are the rains impacting their livelihoods, So I want to really understand. Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm okay, sir. How are you?
I'm very okay. Yeah. So how is this? How do you feel? How do you see the weather? How do you see the rain? How is it affecting you?
It's a chilly, crazy morning. It is so cold out here. And for us who wake up so early to get to work, it has really damaged us in terms of traffic, taking more time on the way, getting to our places. So, yeah, it is quite a challenging, challenging climate weather.
Okay, thank you for that. Maybe what solutions are you doing to ensure that you actually reach at work in time? Because remember, when you go to work, you are reporting to someone's business, and you need to report in time. So what are you doing about that?
People say that it's either you buy land first or a car first. Now, who is still young, trying to get there. I'm trying to improvise with getting borders. Get me my place very fast, very fast. I don't want to waste any more time on the way. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, I've been getting in touch with one of the persons that I'm really reporting back to work and seeing how the situation is like. And you know, on such conditions is where we see that some of the businesses actually thrive, despite the fact that some are being affected. Now, for example, that those that are selling a rainy attire, you know, attires that are used during the rain, they make quite lots of money. You know, I'm holding an umbrella where I'm standing right now, and I used money to buy it. But definitely, I only bought it simply because it's demanding, and the weather calls for that. So you get to realize, as much as some businesses are being affected, some others are benefiting. So you can still benefit, and we know that Uganda's economy largely relies on agriculture. So that's still, on the other hand, a very something very profitable and remarkable, something to really look through into. And of course, we see that some of our neighbors now, like for example, those that reside in the eastern part, such seasons are quite very tricky. Recently, we saw the floods, which were really so heavy, and some of them lost property worth quite lots of money. And actually, at the same time, some of them lost cattle, animals, you know. It was really quite very strategic. So you get to realize how heavy this is. And also other transport, some of the other people that are largely affected by this kind of a weather. We look at the transportation industry, like those that drive the borders. They quite find a little bit of a hard time trying to catch up. Remember, it's not covered. It's open, you know. So you find that some of the passengers don't really want to use them. So that's another implication to their businesses. And that all comes back to what is really something that we can't control. We cannot control the weather. It rains when it feels like it wants to rain. But the only way how you maneuver through this is to ensure that you adjust yourself and try to adapt to the situation, to their condition, trying to find a way that life moves on as usual. You know, you can see right there the situation. It's really very calm. But like I said, I will attribute this to the fact that probably we're heading to the festive season. So I'm trying to imagine if the same scenario happened on the normal days, would we have a calm situation like this? There don't seem to be quite so many rush hours, simply because some of the people have set off that's for Christmas. Christmas breaks, you know, some companies have broken off. And those who might have wanted to come to town probably to transact business, the rain could have really hindered the movement. So we could expect some congestion time to come probably later when some are just entering, because it's just about 9:40 as I speak right now. As we see, that's what is transpiring. Majority of the people have not yet set off. And that's the situation like here. And that's what is happening right here. We are at the roundabout of the Garden City, trying to observe one of the busy places that, of course, the season has made it a little bit much more calm, as you can observe the situation right there. I'm really seeing it. I'm feeling it's very, very calm. Not like as we expected. You can feel the ambience of it. That's what is transpiring right here. The heavy rains, but definitely some of the parts of the country are being affected. Talking about the floods, you know, when we looking about the downtown areas, most of the people, we find that actually some of the buildings, when it rains, they literally just fetch the water out, just like through the basins, and it's that really serious. It's like it's a well, you know, downtown that's close to the new tax park. That's how serious the situation can be like. But it's not the case with like uptown. I think we shall all attribute it back to the drainage systems. Of course, the city authorities called upon to ensure that we have the proper drainage systems so that we don't feel the impacts of the rainfalls. They don't impact us like how they would have impacted us in case we didn't have the right drainage systems. So, however much we could be having the proper ones in the uptown, it's very also essential that we have those other drainage systems in the downtown. This is for the good, and of course, of the entire humanity within the country, the entire population. I mean, we are talking about equality in in terms of resource allocation. So that is something very, very important and impactful to really consider and make sure that, you know, the economy moves on like how it ought to, because there are disruptions, like it or not. You know, for example, if I was supposed to transact a deal at probably at 7 a.m., and because of the heavy rains and the poor drainage system, I'm not in position probably to reach the place I'm reaching to, that is in a way going to affect the velocity of money, the rate at which the money transfers from one hand to another. And that slowness, in a way, is affecting, you know, the transfer of the income. And that leads to a slowdown of the economic activities running. But why? It all comes back, first of all, the weather, which we don't have control over. But secondly, the authorities that are responsible to ensure that they put the right drainage systems not to have much impact regarding the rain. So, because I'll have to wait for the waters to calm down, then I walk to town and transact that business deal. So you realize that it's not going to be that really obvious as such. So in a way, the economy is slowing down in operations. You know, you can just observe it right there. Very few people here. And, you know, the streets used to normally have people that still transact business activities right there, but you still don't find any that is transparent there. So that really explains the state in which the economy is in. You can just take a look at that. The environment, very cold. A very cold morning, but definitely later in the day we shall expect, of course, it to be shining. And it's so interesting how it happens very abrupt, you know. And now coming back to the people, despite those that are transacting businesses now, like as I was talking to a gentleman telling me, you know, I have to find ways that I get myself out as, you know, you're not going to tell your boss that I wasn't in position to reach in time because of the rain. You know, remember, this is a business, and if you don't show up to execute your responsible duties, you're going to be held liable for that. So that comes back to a great challenge, you know, and definitely not so many people have cars, and that is the reality, and that's the fact. So you may not be definitely in position to reach your workplace early in time. But then you mentioned something very interesting, that at least get yourself the attires, the weather attires that are going to help you to really catch up with the time, and you reach at your workplace in time, and you'll be in position to actually execute your duties in time. And in that way, you're adding something to the business of your boss. And that is something which is very, very important. You know, we are experiencing a climate change, like I told you, and some of the solutions that we are talking about is the aspect of artificial weather influencers, let me say that try to find a way that we control on the rate of the economic activities, how, you know, because economic activities in a way are regulating, are determining the weather. Remember, we have quite different types of rainfall. If you started, of course, way back, we're talking about now primary, you know, the convectional rainfall, the cyclonic, and, you know, it all happens. And, you know, there is this which is largely attributed to the economic activities that happen within the country. That's why you'll be surprised that you can come to town and it's really raining heavily. But when you go down to the street, down in the villages, it's not really raining as such. So it's the situation we are really observing, as you can see live here at Garden City. But definitely, maybe the congestion is starting a little bit because some people are just starting to, you know, to wake up, you know, to be like, to start moving. Because before we came on air, it was still drizzling. It was actually raining, but it just stopped like 20 minutes ago. So literally, some people actually are that sensitive when it comes to weather matters, that they will wait for the rain to calm down if they are to really start moving. So I can see quite a lot of the vehicles. If you can look at where that side heading to the Ginger Road traffic lights, you realize that I'm seeing quite many vehicles that are coming out of there. And that is an indicator that since the rains have calmed down, you get to realize that some of the people are starting to move. It wasn't as busy as it's starting to be by the time we came on air. It was a little bit calm, but it's starting to, you know, increase slowly by slowly. You can see quite lots of the borders that are coming out of there, which wasn't the case before. So you get to see how very interesting the scenario is in this matter. So I don't know. whether you plan to come to town today and execute, and what could be the reason why you're not yet in town yet? Could it be the rain? Would you say rain because it's rain, I'm not in position? Well, it's all up to you. It's your business, it's your life. You always figure out a way. But of course, I won't judge you still because I know it's not easy. I know how inconveniencing that factor is. So it may not be as much easy as you think it is. And I've been Andrew Barrage on ground. This is Smart Means Business, and I'm going to take you back to studio with Joram Paul Sonko.
That's very good, Andrew, for you breaking it down for all the travelers out there and the business community on how to prepare ahead of the festive season and what changes have we been able to experience due to the fact that the weather has apparently been so cold for the last few weeks in the month of December, and pretty much a time when you get to as well analyze the strategies for you to walk through such kinds of weather changes within society, within the community. And of course, that is it with the SMB on ground. As we are signing out, just to remind you that investment with Zabo is still a priority that you should be having at the start of your day. That star 292 hash and follow the prompts. Kickstart of your investment journey with Zabo, which is a platform by Altered East Africa. Zabo says my money, my future, and Altered East Africa reminds you to do something new. Use that USSD code, and with a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you'll be able to buy, sell, and share as well. Of course, with the financial market space in Uganda growing steadily, it is time for you to at least be part of that growth by investing in bonds and securities as well, and also make sure that your investment does count. Markets open at 8:15 a.m. and close at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time, and please note that these markets are closed on weekends and public holidays, but the other days you'll be able to invest. Zabo, my money, my future. Altered East Africa, do something new. This is Smart Means Business, happening Monday to Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 10:50 a.m. in the morning. I'm Joram Paul Sonko, yours truly, and of course, quickly to remind you that you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Joram Paul Sonko on there. And remember our social media platforms: Twitter, Smart24 TV, Facebook is Smart24 TV official, Instagram is Smart24_TV, and of course, do remember that the hashtag is Smart24 TV if you are to tweet more about business as well. But also go into our YouTube channel, Smart24 TV Live. Our website is www.smart24.tv. Coming up after this will be financial markets. Have a blessed day. Good morning.